Hello everybody, I'm Jackiekcooper, and my entertainment rundown today is a review of the film Motherless Brookyln. And this is a film that looks like it's set in the 50s. It's about a group of private investigators. The film was written by Edward Norton, directed by Edward Norton, and stars Edward Norton. And he plays a guy who's part of this investigative team who has, they never call it Tourettes, but he acts like he has Tourettes. He can't control some of the, curses that he throws out. He just has these outbursts of words that spark out and shock people, and they're completely inappropriate. But he has no control over them. And I had never heard hardly of Tourette's until I had the good fortune of meeting a guy named Brad Cohen. And Brad Cohen is a teacher in Georgia. He wrote a book called Front of the Class. It was made into a Hallmark movie, and Brad has Tourette's. And he was telling me how hard it was just to go to actually see a movie, because people do not want somebody in the movie shouting out phrases or whatever. And also how hard it was for him to become a teacher, because he did have, these outbursts. But anyway, Tourette's is a real thing, and the character in this movie, who's one of the investigators, has Tourette's. And there is a murder at the very start of the movie, somebody that the whole group is close to, and the rest of the movie is trying to figure out why he was murdered, what he was investigating that brought down the ire of some people upon him that resulted in his death. And Norton's character is brilliant. You tell him something, he remembers it almost verbatim. So he's good in that investigative sense. He is not good at one-on-one with people, because they are distracted by this. He calls it this. His brain is broken, and it causes him to do this. And he can calm himself down some from it by chewing gum or smoking marijuana. Those two things seem to kind of calm him. But he still has to deal with the public a lot of times when he's not in a position to do either of those that they can't calm him down enough. Edward Norton is brilliant in this film. He is just so great playing this character. I've always thought of him as being a superb actor, and he's very choosy, in taking roles. And this one, I guess he had heard of. It's based on a book. He'd heard of the book. He wrote the screenplay, adapted it, and then decided to direct it and cast himself in the lead role. But this has a huge cast of good actors. Not only do you have Edward Norton, you've got Bruce Willis, you've got Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Alec Baldwin, Bobby Cannavale, Willem Dafoe. I mean, come on, that's some of the best actors that you can get, and they are all really, really well cast in this movie. The movie could have been paced a little bit quicker. There are some periods where it just seems to, drag its feet a little bit. But the overall story, trying to figure out who, what, and why happened, that, holds your interest. And each one of these characters being so individually, interesting, makes your attention to the film, hold even in the slow parts. The film is rated R for violence and profanity. Based on the acting and the uniqueness of the characters that are shown, I scored it 7 out of 10. So that's above my, 5 is the average, so you've gone up 2 levels there. And it's on the top scale of the 7. If it hadn't been for the pacing, it probably would have gotten a higher score even. But that's my review of Motherless Brookyln. Reach down there, touch that subscribe button. We want you to be a subscriber so you'll get to see all of the reviews that we have coming up. But for today, my entertainment rundown has been a review of Motherless Brookyln.